The book of Second Ezra, chapter 15, starting at verse 1, and it reads, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity or unbelief of them trouble thee that speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Verse 6, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. I'm going to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to Kol Halayim La Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutation to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua that they're listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, say Shalom. It's Brother Yahweh coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai. Yahweh meaning He is, He exists, or He to be. Hashem, Ba'as in, Haz, the Hashem, His name. Yahushua meaning He saves, or He delivers, true names of the Most High God and His Son, whose people English call God and Jesus Christ, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai. It's a lesson that's inspired by this article that I came across, and just show you that we are truly in the last days. Tells you in the last days, perilous times shall come. Perilous meaning calipus, meaning dangerous, fierce, hard to bear, hard to do, hard to survive, and only thing that's going to transpire is these things aren't going to increase. Scriptures tell you that, greater evils, evil and only evil, And then the headline caught my attention because it says trans dad Robert Dorgan shoots wife, 3 kids in horrid family dispute at crowded Rhode Island hockey arena as players and fans are seen scrambling to safety. Now, mind you, this man think he a woman. Scriptures tell you, meddle not with those that are given to change. If that ain't the biggest change you can do, scriptures talk about, a double-minded man. So I can't tell you. I would not even act like I'm gonna come across and know what the dispute was about. But at the end of the day, you should have been looking at this individual like he was bugged out. This is a man that's, in his mind think he sees a woman. I believe they said, that, anybody that felt it like a man feeling like he was a woman or a woman feeling like they was a man was considered like it was a form of psychosis. He was considered crazy. I think that they said that was, how they viewed it up to like the 70s, which make a lot of sense. When you go into the 70s, the CIA had a lot to do with a lot of shit, Like when you go to Jim Jones, which they say he was part of the CIA. I was listening to this older lady and she was going into that. She was talking about fellatio. She was like, when she was coming up, a man didn't, you didn't have to suck all on him and he didn't have to suck all on her, because basically when they got it, it was ready. She was going into the fact that the society being over-sexualized. And it's spiritual because, again, a lot of psychedelic drugs was introduced during the 70s. The LSD, what's that dude named? Tim something. He was a professor and he was all into LSD, which more than likely he probably was a CIA operative or whatnot. But he was like the channel they used to introduce LSD to the mainstream or to the populace. It was Tim something. He would go back and forth. He was incarcerated a lot. It makes me wonder about that guy Garcia that pretty much Trump was able to send to this country, to that country. I was like, well, damn, you know what I mean? Like you would think, because they sent them to like 4 or 5 different countries. I'm kind of guesstimating. I know at least 3 for sure. I'm like, damn, you got to think about this. I mean, at first I was thinking like, well, damn, maybe, because it's just showing you the mindset of the people. You got people that's not really even completely outraged about what's all being seen, which this is all a psyop, by the way. Brothers know, What did they show you in the Matrix when he was getting the download? When he got too much information, he spit it up. You know what I'm saying? He said, "Let me out." You know. So you got all these people that's emotionally distressed out, period, because of financially what they're going through, how life is, and then you come to find out the people that you put in rulership, your so-called politicians, politicians is some of the most wicked people on the earth. His pictures coming out showing you that Epstein's still alive. Brother did a video showing Ghislaine Maxwell. They showed how she looked and how whoever that was testifying, they made the same people. Matter of fact, the brother just did a video on the one brother from in the news. He just did a video about the dude that did the video on it. When he was like talking about Eve wanting to be in love with Esau Edom and how the Edomite basically infect like 700 women with HIV. That same guy, JD, whatever his name is, he did a video showing and comparing who they said was Maxwell now, but how she originally looked. And they just really like, people so stupid, but it really is spiritual though. Like a lot of people got like, a heavy spell on. And he ain't even in the truth, but he could see. So, prepare for more enchantments, more witchcraft, sorcery, more violence, and more wickedness. It's just, like I said, the closer we get to the end, the more and more, in my opinion, I think just one day they're going to just, because too much is being revealed. You can hear them brothers' voices when they speak on certain videos and topics and these e-files and all that. Like, you could hear like that whole life, what is it called? The organization that took the pictures for the school. When you take the time to think about that, it's like, damn, for real. And that ain't even it. Let's talk about how Walmart sitting up there pretty much saying that Walmart was involved with the human trafficking of the children. Which I wouldn't be surprised. Would you be surprised? It's like, come on. When they said Sam Walton had ties with the government and all that, that's why they say that these Walmarts are going to be converted into fucking, detention centers. Says trans dad Robert Dorgan shoots wife, 3 kids, and horrid family dispute at crowded RI hockey arena as players and fans are seen scrambling to safety. A twisted trans father shot his wife, 3 kids, and a family friend in the stands at a high school hockey tournament in Rhode Island on Monday, sending the panicked crowd screaming and fleeing for the exits. 2 people were killed and 3 others are in critical condition at a hospital after the gunfire erupted at Lynch Arena in Pawtucket around 2:30 p.m., according to cops who described the incident as a targeted family dispute. What I find funny, because this is the second time doing this video, in the inner city or in Jake neighborhoods, in order to get into the school, you got to go through a metal detector. But in Edomite schools, they don't have them. But like the beloved elder apostle, it wasn't the elder apostle, it was the beloved elder from Chicago. He posted a post showing you who the most violent man on the earth is. And when you go into like school shootings, individuals that shoot up their job or business, all these different violence, these violent acts, Esau Edom always ranked at the highest of those percentages. So, I mean, what am I supposed to do? Feel sorry for him? You the violent man, you the beast man, shit. You know what I mean? You the wild man, Remember what he called Gad the red man? Yeah. Gad about as dark as Judah, but you the red man. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucking devil. The shooter identified as 56-year-old Robert Dorgan, who also went by Roberto Esposito, died of a self-inflicted gun wound, police said. Look at this big-ass dude with the blue gemstone, blue. Man, listen. That's what I said. This play got. How did that even work? This nigga got this Harley Davidson, but this nigga think here. How did that work? That's crazy. Dorgan was the father of a senior at North Providence High School. No, that was embarrassing. One of the 6 schools participating in the co-op games. He shot his son's mother, their 3 children, and a family friend who were all spectators at the game, according to reports. Great violence. Damn. The mother died at the scene, and one of the children died at the hospital, the local outlet report. He probably said, I'm more of a woman than you'll ever be. Like, hey. A woman who was seen leaving the Pawtucket Police Department following the deadly rampage told reporters, my father was the shooter and claimed that he was plagued by mental health issues. And I just was speaking on all this. That's the spirit. But it really wasn't mental health issues. It was the spirits on him. It's a lot of left-hand spirits out here. You know what I mean? It's like intensified. That's why brothers got to be like, I was listening to the elder apostle. He did a video talking about, using our tools in our toolbox, that prayer and fasting. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, like, yeah, I would incorporate that. And I used to have it, I would always do it. But, well, that's between me and the Lord. But I'm just saying, like, you can see it. Yeah. And then this dude's so big, so like I said, he probably one of the big punks. Motherfucker ain't gonna call him a punk directly. So his parents, his family probably was like, oh, and that's the thing with Esau, Edom. They so accepting of shit. You know what I mean? Again, I just come to find out the 2 island boys, they got pictures of them with Epstein as a child, as children. Then you wonder why they so weird and bugged out. And they say that when people get the tattoo on their face and shit is because they pretty much got trauma. Something sexually that happened to them. So your boy Blueface, you know what I mean? Like, he might have had to do some freaky dinky because he come home to shit. Hey, come on, Blueface ain't no fucking great rapper like that. Like, come on, let's be honest. Like I said, like, I don't even know one song. I know he did a song with the nigga that he was beefing with. That blew both of them up. But otherwise, like, Blueface, he got talents, you know what I mean? Yeah, he looked like he could box a little bit. It looked like if he was dedicated on it, he probably really could have tried to make a career of it. But he ain't gonna do that shit. They too busy, he making money just from streaming. Which, like I said, is so spiritual because that chick Sophia that wrote, I ain't call her a chick, that lady that wrote The Matrix and all that, she's predicted all this. So she got to be an insider. He's shot by family and he's dead now, she said, adding that he was very sick. That's deep because she lost her whole fucking family. Make you think of From Dusk to Dawn. It says a live stream of the hockey match captured the moment spectators and players dove to the floor as approximately 11 gunshots rang out. Damn. 11. That's a hell of a number. Look at that. That's him. That's crazy. I knew that was, that ain't no woman. That is a big ass man. Talk about I'm a girl. That's crazy. So again, just show you the signs of the times, and again, we gonna see. Even I ain't about to keep on reading this, but if you're interested or curious or whatever, the article caught my attention because things are getting more strange and more violent. You know what I mean? And the scriptures tell you the Lord can use any spirit to do His will. All flesh bends to the will, or all things obey His will. Roughly paraphrased. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 18. But scriptures also tell you that there be spirits created for vengeance. I think He killed the mother and one of His children, and then I think He injured some people too. And He knew ain't nobody trying to go to jail, like that. Now it's a difference if, Like the one UFC fighter that tried to kill the dude that molested his son. And the reason why he went to jail is because he shot somebody. He shot somebody that was innocent of it. I think if this is the right case, I think I might be mixing it up. I think he shot because I think the dude did something to his son, so he did something to dude's father or some shit like that. Like I think the father was in. I might be mixing up the cases, but the guy, the UFC fighter, he was a champion that shot the guy, but he didn't shoot the guy that was molesting him. He shot somebody else that was in the car. He chased him down and he opened up on it. And he supposed to got 5 years, but he did like 3 years trying to fight the case before he got sentenced. So he only had to do like a couple more years. He just got released like I think yesterday. So I can understand something like that. But then when you do some shit like the individuals that's going, the spirit jump on them to go on Facebook Live and just open up and, take somebody out. Like you like I said, you seeing a lot of bugged out shit. But like I said, scripture say in the last days, perilous times shall come. This is book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. These are different, everything has a spirit to it. Fire has a spirit to it. Hail has a spirit to it. The pestilence has a spirit to it. I remember when the elder was sitting up there saying, you can see they manipulated that last weather situation, which I could believe. But it was spiritual too. I heard too many brothers speak on that. Last time we've been locked in, brothers couldn't even go out and camp like that. I mean, you had some brothers that did and could, but certain, in certain places, it was like 15, 13, 10. I was working outside when it was like 25. When it got to the point where it's like that cold, and the craziest part is, the day before we got the real freezing temperature, I almost got killed. These dumb motherfuckers got me. They telling me to do something, and I do the shit and almost get killed. I'm talking about the Lord was really with me. And then the next day, that's when we had that deep freeze. Verse 30, teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. So the Lord gonna have a lot of ways to, what you ever see that show 1,000 Ways to Die? Then you see all the inventive ways the person could die. I remember it was one guy, he bought a sound system. He wanted this loud ass sound system. The sound system was so loud, the motherfucking bass pushed him out the window. We can't make the shit up. You were so fascinated with this loud ass music. My ears is fucked up now just from riding around and being around Jake when they put all that, sounds in their cars. When I've had jobs working construction and shit like that, I wore my PPE. And then what a job I just was, last year I had, they would each year do an ear check. You see how your hear, you go to find out my hearing fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking I can hear, Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is, and when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. So, that dude, the spirit jumped on that dude for whatever reason. Again, they talk about the mental issues. You can clearly see he had the mental issues. He went as far as to get the breast transplants and all that shit. This old big ass looking. This nigga look like he played on Hamburger Hill or some shit like that. Like, this nigga looked like straight, like he was in the military or something. But that's crazy. Ooh, shit. I pray the Lord keep every perverse and testable spirit, Baba Shot. Like, don't let me go out like that. Baba Shot, like, that's scary. Because the Lord can do anything. You upset or fuck, or you know what I mean? Again, like, uh, hell no. The dude either was secretly or, like you got a lot of people just confused. You get what I'm saying? Think about it, like with children. Children grow up and they talk about they feel this way. No, it's kind of like you letting them, you know what I mean? That's why you got these people that come push that, these wicked ass demons that come, transgenders. I remember they was doing that shit in California. When I went out to California and met the brothers out there. And that's when they was pushing that shit heavy. And brothers was upset about that shit. And why wouldn't you be? You a parent, but you ain't really got to say so as a parent to keep the people that you don't want away from your children or the people you don't want to be around your children away from them. Because, like, what the fuck? As much as I love my sister, I was thinking about something the elder was talking about, these wacky tacky Christians. My sister called herself a believer. She a Christian. But I remember she could see that she got a friend that wrote a book. She tried to send the book to me. The book is all about, a child being transgender. You think I let my children read that shit? I just thinking to myself like, but you're supposed to be. The average Christian is bugged out. That's why I said, your job is to try to relay the information. That ain't for you to have these people get it. That's why the scriptures say what they say. Seek out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Now, if you really believe, you're gonna try to, awaken people to this knowledge. But then you got to also vet shit, and you got to, everybody ain't don't cast your pearls before swine. If a nigga ain't gonna get it, like the elder say, I ain't about to sit up here. I know this nigga ain't trying to. What Charles the White say? I was gonna do a video of that bitch ass nigga. That nigga say, nigga, I'm not trying to live for God. But you always quoting something out the Bible. Because you really don't believe in the book. The nigga sit up there and said one thing, and then he said he believed in God, but he not trying to live for God. Like, this nigga retarded. And then if I find that video, I'm gonna do the lesson on it. So Lockie, I know I'm all over the place. It's so much shit that's vexing here. You just be like, and you're supposed to just stay on the path and the straight punches, the quickest way to, orthodox, I ain't mean to say orthodox. But point being, just, a simple jab, straight boom. But, again, some brother styles is like that, and my style too, because like the elder said, it's so much going on, and the world just waxing worse and worse, and these people is unaware. I think we can say this until we blue in the face, and these people still not gonna snap out of it. But I could see something coming. Like, it's a lot of people feeling some kind of way about this list, and I think that's what they want. It's a psyop. Because they know that's going to provoke emotions out of certain people. That's like, for instance, you ever seen a family having a funeral and then somebody do some bullshit amongst the family while they grieving? That person that do that might lose their life. You get what I'm saying? So while all these people are stressed out, can barely survive, and then all this information coming out, again, the people that you trusted in, you come to find out they ain't shit. And I forgot who brought that out. They said pretty much DJ Trump know that they're going to blame it all on him. So what is his escape card? To crash this shit. So I just got a few scriptures. Because at the end of the day, the scriptures tell you the Lord going to come with division, and a man's foes will be of their own household. Who's to say why he did that? But, at the end of the day, like I said, I just brought up in this lesson about, a person that thought, or transgender literally was considered a crazy person years ago. And the daughter said, yeah, he was very sick. This is the book of Matthew chapter 10 and verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth.
Congratulations. You have been
I came not to send peace, but a sword. And that's ultimately a sword, cuts stuff. So the Lord coming with division. That's where your civil war going. The civil war brewing now. You know what I mean? Again, you got the people divided against these politicians. You got Edomites divided against Edomites. You know. So you've always had Jake divided because of the curses, but now the curses have fallen upon them. And this place, the scriptures talk about it in too many different scriptures about because of the blood that was defiled of his land. The only way to cleanse his land is by the blood of those that shed innocent blood, roughly paraphrased. You defiled the land by shedding blood, so the only way to cleanse the land of the blood you shed was by your blood. And the cold part about it is the Lord is going to use the Esau, Edom to basically go against each other. You know. Verse 35, for I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Verse 36, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household. So, scriptures talk about evil, and only evil, behold, is come. And we about to see which evil is a compound word, eve meaning time, ill meaning bad. So we about to see evil. Like I said, again, you're gonna see all kind of little crazy ass incidents. And it's been an uptick of those kind of incidents where you got the father killing the mother and all the kids, or the mother killing her children, or you know what I mean? Like you've had a lot of incidents where, people that supposed to love one another show you, yeah, the love of many waxing cold. This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 7, and I'm gonna start at verse 3. Now is the end come upon thee, and I will send mine anger upon thee, and will judge thee according to thy ways. What's that? Ezekiel chapter 9. Set a mark upon the foreheads, the thuah. But all those that don't got this mark, the angel's gonna smite. And I will send mine anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and I will recompense or reward upon them, so like upon thee, all thine abominations. And mine eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will reward thy ways upon thee, or recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abomination shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, power and evil, and only evil, behold, is come. The end is come. The end is come, and watching for thee, behold, it's come. And again, if you can't see that the end of the present day society, shit been ended. Think about listen, they just, how many people got kicked off of these social programs, or shit. What you heard about the whole Save America Act? They just passed all kind of shit without what. And like I said, and you wonder sometimes, is they all in cahoots with it? But you can see, the elder was just saying that. He was like, where's the Congress? Where's the Supreme Court? Because they all in cahoots. And then to cover their ass every once in a while, they say, oh yeah, you can't just do this. You got to do this. Yet still, he keep on doing whatever the fuck he want. So, the end of America pretty much was solidified when this man got in office, because how things used to operate, as far as you supposed to have a Bill of Rights and, the Constitution and constitutional rights, just being a sovereign city. I said sovereign city, sovereign citizen. That shit out the window. Why you think that he able to just snatch up Americans and, come on, it's cases where they snatched up Americans that's actually American citizens and still detained or arrested and deported. What are you talking about? They keep on talking about this dude, Jesse Jackass Jackson. You know what I mean? The Lord been taking out a lot of motherfucking people too. Like somebody else just died too. Well, the scripture say in Isaiah chapter 57, a man basically being taken away to not have to be taken away from the evil to come, roughly paraphrase. Yeah, but he was supposed to partake in it, so he probably like, Man, when you take the time to think about our people and the leaders of our people and how compromised they is, like you got the average American that sits up there, uh, like the Babylonian American, realizing how corrupt, you know, his government is and his politicians or politicians, you know. But Israel been recognized, or they should have been recognized, how corrupt our leaders is. You know what I mean? The only leaders that I truly believe that are honorable men is the head apostles of the so-called what they want to label these other groups want to label them as the bum camp, which I met some of these men, far from bums. Yeah. A bum ain't got nothing going for themselves. A bum is pretty much content with the scraps and crumbs of what the society give them. That's why a bum, you just give them some change and they go get some, what they call a wino. They go get some wine or a bump, and they content. They not trying to uplift themselves. So if anybody would be the bum, it would be these camps that trying to make it here in Babylon the Great, in a system that's crashing. And that's why I get what the elders say about they don't got the truth. The Lord ain't really dealing with them. Because, that's the scary thing about just because you are being financially blessed, everything that glitter ain't gold, you know what I mean? So just because the Lord got things looking like that's the scary part about it, you know what I mean? Because the Lord can preserve somebody for the day of evil too. You try to build in a system that's crashing, like what the fuck? Come on, Bitcoin went down. They talk about almost like $10,000, and like I said again, it's coming out that they said that pretty much Epstein is the one that created Bitcoin. So if they release some information like that, you don't think it's gonna crash? That's a spirit, because he just said muscle head Christian. That brother funny. It's Second Ezra chapter 8, verse 50. I will start at verse 49, verse 48. In that it's like in this also thou art marvelous before the Most High, in that thou hast humbled thyself as it becometh thee, and hast not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous. No. I never sat back and thought about it like, I know I've been through a lot for the Heavenly Father, but I know I've never experienced, when you read that count to I can only imagine what the elders been through. Like I said again, like I've seen some trippy shit, but it just, like how confident the elder was. Like I said, when the one elder brother broke down, he was like, I'm glad he came out and actually, gave his testimony too. He was like, I was one of them brothers that had to go and exercise that house. I was like, damn. He was like the elder to give him those scriptures or that. He was like, yeah. He talk about sink or swim. He just threw him out there like. But that, I'm sure, did something to their spirit and their faith that, that's why the Lord has us go through certain things in our walk for our testimony. Like, I know if I didn't have a lot I had, I wouldn't be able to I probably would have lost my mind and went back in the world by now. So call Loyim that the Lord did give me those, different trials and tribulations. I told you, I figured out late that, learn to suffer in patience. Like, nobody was breaking none of that down to me. And like the elder said, so if you ain't had nothing to say to me, why would I listen to you? If anything, I'll be probably telling a brother I'm going through this, and he going back telling somebody else laughing at me. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world because they have walked in great pride. And the Lord is going to humble the proud. What's that? Proverbs 16:18. Pride cometh before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. So just imagine, brothers always like to use that Humpty Dumpty reference. This elevated whore, when she fall, you ever seen a woman when she brought low, a proud ass woman, a woman that's used to getting her way, when she's humbled, is like no other, it's like nothing else you've ever seen before, It's one of those moments where you like, everybody stop and watch. A proud bitch, just like a proud individual do. Like when things don't work the way that they expect them to, when a person's used to getting their way. A spoiled child, all these different, personalities. But, when pride comes into the situation, when they are humbled, it's like no other. And a proud person ain't going to deal with it the right way. An actual humble person will actually, I've been watching Napoleon Hill. And he, I don't know if you know who Napoleon Hill is. If not, go check him out if you choose to. But he spoke on the Most High God a lot. He was like, pretty much when the Lord want to use a man, he gonna break him. Because there's some men that they don't got nobody else but the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Scriptures talk about the Most High is not being in all your thoughts. And that's how you know the difference between a man of the Lord and just a individual in this thing, or a regular, just a civilian, or you know what I mean? A citizen, or put it like that. Because we in a spiritual war. You got niggas in the street call people that's not in the street civilians. So they figure that civilians, this and that and off limits. But Woody said something that is the truth. He said, ain't nobody off limits. What the fuck are you talking about? And that's the truth. Motherfuckers ain't got no code. It used to be a code. Like the elder said, nowadays, motherfucker come to your funeral and shoot your funeral up. That's how you know the demons intensifying. You got dudes that was going to, like in Nipsey Hussle, you had a dude that was a rapper that went to this man's gravesite and I think pissed on it, or he basically desecrated the gravesite, all for clout. And one of the Lord put a spirit on one of his fans that blew down on him. What if somebody that really fucked with him would have? I want to say, like, this generation is simple. I was talking to my children about that. This technology is convenient, but it really made everybody stupid. And it's not really ingenious, but at the same time, for a slow-witted person, they'd be like, oh yeah, be like, again, this streaming shit is to get everybody to stand still. Like that shit is not that entertaining. It's not. I've never watched the whole stream. I've seen little shorts of the shit. And then when you take the time to think about the amount of money they giving these people that's not really talented, like some of them is, but a lot of them ain't. You know what I mean? Not talking about shit. They doing little nigga shit. Like everybody a gangbanger affiliated. You don't think they know gang signs? I was watching this one show and dude sat up there. He's an Edomite. He was talking about all the different offshoots of the Bloods, breaking down the whole gang culture. Shit I didn't even know. I mean, I ain't never really been around the Bloods, but there's certain things Like I know they wear their rag on one side while the Crips wear theirs on another side. But he was going into I'm talking about because you got offshoots of these gangs, because it breaks down, like it's more so streets. Like they all repping the same stuff, but you'll have Crips from over in this area don't like Crips from over in this area. So, again, it's so funny like the scripture said, if it be of man, it will come to naught. Like you got this unification, but y'all not even really fucking unified. So how the fuck would you physically fight Esau Edom? You gonna have to spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck if you get all Issachar and Ephraim and all that. If it's on some carnal shit, that shit ain't gonna work. Salakia for being all over the place. So I'm about to end it with this second Ezra chapter 14 because again, everything is increasing. More judgments, more more death, more violence. But we can't really focus on these things. We got to focus on Yahweh Shem Shah. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 14 and 14. The scriptures tell us that's what we have the one up because the Lord already foretold what the last days going to be like, what's going to take place. He already, gave us the prophecies. And no one is half the battle, like the elder always say, like G.I. Joe. You know how much of an advantage it puts us at. No one. That's why we don't move. We move, Salaki. That's why we move a certain kind of way. And like while all these people bugging out, no jobs and all that. We do anything with no jobs. We just hope and pray and trust that the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah is go take care of us and provide for us. I'll be honest. I ain't gonna even go speak on it, but again, to make it this long without having really, like, I don't got nobody helping me except Yahweh Shem Shah. Second Ezra chapter 14 and verse 14. And the prayers of brothers that sincerely, think I'm of the brotherhood, I can feel energy. I'm sure brothers can feel energy. Second Ezra chapter 14 and verse 14. Let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature. Again, we gonna have to. What's that? 2 Timothy chapter 2. Pretty much endure hardness as a good soldier. I mean, that goes with anything, like anything that you got in this world. Because, even when it comes to, the children that the Lord has given you, when you take time to really think about it, they aren't even our children. The Lord just put them up under your care. To assist, they are your children. I remember Jake was sitting up there, and we was looking at the relationship the one brother had, or the elder brother had with another elder brother, and he was like, pretty much, yeah, he probably was my son in the last carnation or whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, Jake got a sense of humor, but it could be true too. Certain spirit, they call them kindred spirits, right? You ever went across a female that it's like something about that person? A female might be a person that you met, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, the reincarnation real. Verse 15, set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee and haste thee to flee from these times. If again, when I be in my head a lot. So, when that happens, I try to like get in the scriptures or listen to a brother video, you know what I mean? Again. And I can see I have been kind of not moving away, but have not been so as locked in as I normally be. Lord, sent the lot my way as of recently. So now I'm trying to, rearrange and fix shit. And, it's partly my fault. It's partly, the Lord tested me. That's why you're supposed to be on your square and always having your head on a swivel. The scriptures talk about being circumspect. That was like a verse on one of my pages one time. Redeeming the times because the days are evil. We supposed to be looking for, Satan, advances. So you can't blame nobody when you do a mishap. Anything that we deal with, you should have the knowledge to get out of. You know, I remember that. I remember when Jake would sit up there. He'd be so grateful with the Lord would present certain situations that they would have to actually like deal with within the cap. You're like, yeah. He said, "We dealt with that. Dealt with that." I just found it funny. Verse 16, for yet greater evils, because when you go through different things, that's supposed to make you wiser. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. So everything's just going to intensify. I mean, again, you know, that was crazy, but that ain't the craziest shit you're going to see. What's crazy is what's being released out of these e-files and how docile the people still is. But the thing is, just because that's in the forefront doesn't mean that that's the spirit or the heartbeat of the streets. You know, the world, you could feel like, you could feel something coming. I know brothers say that all the time, but that don't mean it ain't true. You know what I mean? Brothers are saying, we can see this coming. We can feel this coming. And then look at all it, decades happen. So you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what exactly is going to happen. I can say, again, I know they ain't got just that military, all that equipment up there. All that costs money. They ain't just got them sitting up there for nothing. Best believe that shit. I don't see them going all the way up there and just say, oh yeah, we just gonna turn around. I don't see that. Because the pride of this devil literally has it in his mind that they can't lose. You get what I'm saying? Like the elder said, he doesn't really understand that it's written for him to pretty much be taken down, taken out of power. This is gonna be to his detriment, to their demise. So I pray the Lord put the spirit on him to act swiftly. Don't keep on pussyfooting, Shoot your shot, shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, do your thing, you know what I'm saying? But again, like I said again, this devil is kind of cunning. He know exactly what the fuck he doing. It might be around the time when they try to impeach him, but you know what I mean? You don't know, I can see, again, this man's name is mentioned in these Epstein files. Obama's is, Michelle Obama, Peter Thiel, all these different individuals. It was like 300 people named listed. And then the one brother dude did the video where he was showing the pictures from Chris Tucker to, Charlie Sheen, you know what I mean? What's her name? Selena Gomez. Just everybody. So like the elders that but I mean, we shouldn't be really surprised. Think about it just popped in my head like the elder from Houston said. He said, I'll never want to go off again. Like, it's funny, but it's not funny. It was funny because of the way he said it, and I felt him, and it was the way he said it. But it's not funny because I feel him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can see both sides of both sides of it. Like, it's not a laughing matter. It's not funny at all. Like, this man. Again, I don't think how crazy this dude was. If we was to actually know everything that was going on, we probably would lose, like your mind would probably do a split. It should have cracked. You probably go, on some shit like him. You ever seen that movie Rampage? Just watch, you gonna see a increase of that shit. People just snapping on these jobs because they overworked and underpaid. And just snap. Shoot up the whole fucking, you know what I mean? Mainly the owner or the manager or some shit like that. Yeah, so again, I'm going to end the lesson there. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Civil Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the law, statutes, commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo-Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to call loyal. Allah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshua Ba'Shem. Double honors to the elders, to the apostles I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua, to the listener and learning, Lord willing, this is edified. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but who subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Until next time, Lord willing, shalom, shalom. Kwame Asherallah, and Wath Lababah.